everyone, and welcome back. Just headed back up to deer camp. Friday today. My dad is going to come up tomorrow morning. George has been up here all week. I don't think he did a whole lot of hunting though. He drove the loop a couple times and didn't see any deer tracks, and the weather has been pretty crappy. There was rain one day and then wet snow one day. But on the far end of the loop, he said they're going to be doing a big logging operation there, and I wanted to check that out because it could come in almost as far as my far stand. That's going to be really good in the future for deer. We always look forward to when they're going to be logging, because then all that new growth comes up and it'll bring the deer back in. This is about probably 30 miles from the tent. Years ago there used to be some hunting groups that would stay in here. They would bring campers and they would always be up here, but nobody's been here for a long time. I'm just going to grab my shotgun in case there's any grouse, and I'm just going to walk down this trail a little bit and see what it looks like. I'm probably a quarter mile back, maybe a little more. Haven't seen any deer tracks, jumped any grouse. If I had my my tan truck up here, I'd have just drove in here, because people still have been driving. I don't know where this comes out. And there's no cell phone coverage here, so I can't look at my map to see where exactly I'm at. Pretty back here though. Look at that big old white pine right there. That's an old tree. Can't imagine the things that it has seen. Well, we'll head back to the truck. There's another one of these roads, but back a little ways farther. Someday I'll have to drive in on that one, and I don't even know how you get to that one, but looks really good for grouse. I can tell it's going to be cold in the tent. It's not supposed to get above freezing today, and I think the low tonight is 18. I'll have to look on a map and see if I can, if these trails are on there. Otherwise it'd be kind of a fun thing to come here, maybe with Zach or whatever, and bring four-wheelers back and just check it all out. It's probably been 20 years that I wanted to know what was back here and just never stopped. What a pretty day. That drops off pretty far there. Big old pile of rocks down there. Big rocks. Roads look a little better today than when I left. I was still driving in four-wheel drive in this part here. Well, at least it's a few degrees warmer in here than it is outside. Oh, that time isn't right. It's actually 11:27 right now. Let's drive the loop and see what they're doing on the far end of it, and then come back here and cook up some lunch. Give the tent a little bit to heat up in here. Blowing out nice hot air now. It's been about 10 minutes. I didn't know that George was out sitting today. I saw Tom's truck also, so both of them are out in their stands. Oh wow, they're not messing around, they're already logging it. Look at that, huh? It's gonna be great for deer hunting. They have a track machine, I just saw it, that they're putting logs on and they must track them all out to the road here. Makes for a rough road. I wonder where they stack them, or if they just wait until a semi comes and they load it up. Let's go back and cook up a couple of burgers. That clock is still wrong. It's 12:02. I just put my hand by the vent and it's so hot, that air, that you can't go right. I mean, it's really hot. But I can smell a faint little bit of the smell of diesel, which Melissa would never ever go for. It affects her lungs so bad. But the reason why that's happening is there's a little bit of a breeze going this way. The exhaust is coming out and sucking into the intake. So if I did it like I talked about before and have the intake coming from inside the tent, so you're just circulating the tent air, that problem would be eliminated. And it wouldn't have to be here in the tent, it could be the fish house or whatever. That's definitely the best way to go. I'm going to go out and start up the barbecue, and then I pretty much brought the same food up I had last time. I had another bag of or box of those hamburgers, 2 pork steaks left, chicken legs, and spare ribs, which I'm only going to be up here for the 2 days, today and tomorrow, but I just threw it all in there. Up here you never know when all of a sudden, surprise, 12 inches of snow. Everything is starting to freeze. Didn't have any ice in there either. I just put it from the freezer and the refrigerator into the cooler last night. Threw it in the back of my truck. So I should get some beers in here for tonight. I moved that muffler over because you can just move it, so I moved it and so that exhaust isn't right by the, or farther away from the intake. Thing is putting the heat out now. Holy crap. That should be good. George said that there was no sign anywhere. Tom did a big walk and nothing. He pulled all of his stuff and he's done driving up here unless something really changes. So yeah, I did see tracks come out down a ways, and I wondered who walked that, but it must have been Tom. Not any tracks. Tonight I'm not going to sit in the stand. I'm going to grab my shotgun with a slug in one barrel and a grouse one in the other one and go walk down those 2 trails. I mainly came up here because my dad's coming up here, and he was supposed to come up today, but now he's not coming up till tomorrow. So I think tomorrow morning I'll go over there and start his stove for him. And then he's going to stay for part of the week because it's going to be so warm. There's a couple days when, we'll look it up and see. I know at the house there's a couple days it's supposed to be 50. I mean, you guys have seen me up here when it was like 21 below zero. Blowing, horrible, and I was in the stand. Not this year. Let's see, I think maybe we'll do Gunsmoke today. I really enjoy that Tales of Wells Fargo also, but I only have season 1 and 2. And I've seen them, all of them. That's George right there. I need to see if I don't think any more seasons were available when I bought those, so I'll have to look and see. Still open water over there where the beavers are, going all the way across the lake. I'm sure they're swimming that all the time.
No, it ain't too bad. Well, man, I'll get started up later. Listen, Kemp, you know me, I was never very strong about lawmen, you know that. I reckon. But it seems like 3 against 1. I can go for that, more or less 4.
I forgot to bring out potatoes. I have canned potatoes though if I want some.
Interesting to say. 3 against 2.
First you can stay out of this.
That's always been contrary. No, they put a hole in my sheepskin now. Cat was awful slow for an outlaw.
Wonder if I need a jacket. It's like it's right at that point where you don't need a jacket. Oh, you know what I need? I need my yellow pullover. That's what I'm missing. I think that's out in the truck. Oh, it's plenty warm in here. I took my little remote control and turned down the diesel heater so it's not running full blast. There is no temperature difference between the front of the tent and the back of the tent. There we go. Alright, we got some 12 gauge 3-inch Magnum slugs. I got a bunch of lead in the truck. I'll just grab 4 of these. We'll go out and see if we can see some grouse or anything. I think I'll walk down this one a ways first, but when that snow starts hanging on all the little brush pieces here, it can get pretty wet walking in there. I just got back to the truck. I put my little tracker thing on when I was back there on my Onyx, whatever that thing is called, 0.90 miles. So I did it in 26 minutes. I had to stop for a little bit though and upload a picture to Melissa, which was taking forever because there's hardly any service back there. So yeah, I can't believe so that far, no deer tracks. I just drove over and I was going to go down that one trail that goes to the wooden bridge to see if there's any grouse there. I get right up to that trail and they have logged all the way over to that trail already. I mean, it's amazing. Yesterday George drove through here. They weren't doing any logging yet. And they've already got this huge pile of logs, way bigger than when we drove by there like 3.5, 4 hours ago. Tomorrow, I don't know if they're going to be working tomorrow, but we're going to drive the loop again and we'll get a better look at it. But I decided I'm just going back to the tent. All kind of heavy machinery everywhere right there. This time of year, it's much better when everything is frozen. You tear the crap out of the yard. I try to drive easy and I put it in 4-wheel drive when I'm here so that, and it still spins, so everything is just really slick. Feels nice in here. I turned it down before I left so it's not blowing so hard or whatever. I don't know, I just pushed the minus button a bunch of times and it slowed down. It's the way it sounded. 76 in here and the wood stove is barely going. Well, Melissa's going to call me in just a couple of minutes here on her way home, so I had to run out and get my earpiece thingy. Well, all I've been doing tonight is editing on the first week deer hunting video. I'm still on the first folder, which is the biggest folder of video clips, and I've got 16 folders, and it's already 26 minutes long. I mean, some of the folders are real short when you get later on, but just couldn't get into it this week doing it. There was just, you know, when you're up here for 6 days, then go home, there's a whole bunch of stuff to do, then turn around and come back up here. I haven't had a chance to, so I think what I'm just going to do tonight, though, is fry up a pork steak. Maybe I want to fry up 2 of them, and then I can decide if I want to do burgers for lunch tomorrow, or if I want to cook tomorrow night and eat the pork steak. Since I'm going home the following day, I want to keep everything kind of short and clean this time up, since coming up at the end of the week with the kids. I think I'm going to fry them both up. Since they have thawed now, I'll run out and grab a vegetable and maybe a canned potatoes. I did shut this diesel heater off quite a while ago now. I had it running for, I think, 6 hours and 15 minutes. And a bunch of that was on high. And then 4 clicks down on the remote, whatever that did. And tomorrow I'm going to look and see. When I got back from that last run, it looked like it had burned about 1 inch of fuel. So tomorrow I'll check it and see how much it actually did burn. When Melissa cooks pork, like when she does chops, she always cooks it on really low heat. And usually my way of cooking is, you know, like on the grill or over the fire, so everything is high heat. So lately I've been trying to turn it down. I wish we have this thing that's that you put over the pan that's round with a screen to keep the grease from popping out. I wish I had one of them here. That also holds a little bit more of the heat down in there, but not enough to steam it. And because the only thing bad about frying pork and stuff is it's going to splatter all over the place. The only thing bad about like frying, like a pork chop on the barbecue is not good. Not nearly as good as a pork steak is. Same with on a fire. Melissa can fry them super good. And the only problem is, like doing a pork steak, they got so much fat in them that when you do it over the fire or the grill, a lot of that fat, you know, gets pulled out of it. So it's healthier. Well, you don't get that so much when you fry it, so let's make it even worse by frying our potatoes in the pork fat.
Smart with me. I don't know what you mean. But I just bought that bay horse and sold me like this. You got a good deal on him. Let me tell you something. You go anywhere in this place, I'm going to shoot you on sight. Now you stay out of the way. You're a man, isn't he?
Oh, it's 10 minutes to 11. It's time for bed. now, to make triple sure that it's not healthy, we're going to fry the spinach in the same pan. Ooh, turn that down.
Mr. Sulu, if you think you have the tactical advantage, you fire on that ship even if we're still on board. That's an order. Yes, sir. Otherwise, we'll contact the Enterprise when we're ready to be beamed back.
Well, it's 20 minutes to 11. I'm going to crawl into bed and scroll my phone for a while and eventually fall to sleep. Good morning, everybody. I've been up texting with my dad, who is leaving. Right now it's 10 minutes to 7. He's going to leave at 8 o'clock. It'll put him up here about noon. And then I was texting with George, and last night when his son and John came up to the cabin, you remember that spot that I walked down last week? It's that trail that goes way back where last year there was some deer tracks, but this year there wasn't any. They saw 3 deer cross the road right there last night, so I'm going to drive down and just walk in a little ways on that one and see if anything is, if there's any tracks that have showed up there. And then if I go down a little bit farther, there's another trail that goes off to the right if I'm going south, and there's actually a 4-wheeler area that they put in. This year they were working on it, and I'm going to drive down there too and check it out. George said that might be a good spot. I'm not going out this morning. George isn't going out. Nobody's going out to sit, I don't think. I think that they're going to run out, maybe try to do some grouse hunting or something. And I'll run over, and I asked my dad if he wanted me to start his stove, and he said that'd be nice. So I'll go over there in a little while and start his wood stove up for him. At least I have a plan for today, something to do. If I can check that area out, if there's any deer tracks, maybe if Sarah and Zach come up at the end of the week, we could just go and sit over there. So we'll check it out. This morning, just before 5 o'clock, I started up that diesel heater back there, and I let it run for about an hour, and it really got it toasty back there, and then I just clicked the remote and shut it off, and yeah, it was pretty cool. George was just messaging me, and he said that the Duluth paper says the deer registration is down 19% in the Northeast from last year, and they blame it on less doe permits, rain, snow, and wind. I said, ha, yeah, let's not blame it on what everybody reading the article already knows. It's the wolves. And then I sent them this article, which Melissa sent me yesterday, and it was real interesting. It just says, empty deer camps, wolves moving in on hunters' deer, and dismal success being reported in multiple areas in the first week of firearm season. And it was a really interesting read because there was one guy who shot a deer, and 3 wolves moved in on the deer. He had to get, shoo him away, or I don't know what he did, if he shot in the air or whatever. After he gutted the deer and pulled the deer out, the wolves were on the gut pile right away. And then another shot from somewhere else went off, and all three of the wolves took off toward the direction of the shot. So it's like they associate a shot with a deer. And if I don't know if that's, you know, what they were doing or whatever, but it was an article that was a pretty interesting read about how deer camps that have had people in them for, you know, 30 years are nobody there right now. I think I'll run over and get Dad's stove started. That'll give it almost 5 hours to heat up the cabin before he gets there. Plenty cold in here. "31 degrees. It's kind of a finicky stove. I guess all stoves are kind of finicky until you know their personality. If I push the damper in too far, it'll smoke out this top part. So trying to find the perfect spot so we're getting the most amount of heat. Like in the tent, I'll run it wide open at first until it gets everything warmed up, but this is a little bit more of a beefy stove, so once the cast iron on here gets heated up, it's a nice, you know, constant heat source. Well, I have the wood stove going and I just turned on the oven. I'm going to go back to the tent and come back here in maybe 45 minutes and reload the stove, shut off the oven. That really does help heat it up in here though. And then it should be good until he gets here. I can't remember the last time I saw the sun. It's like, what is that? I just went back over to the folks and put some more wood on that fire. And now I'm going to start my truck and let that warm up a little bit. And once I'm comfortable that I don't have to babysit that wood stove, I'm going to, I want to take off and go check a few things out. Talking to Kerry Rod, and he, there's 9 people in their hunting party, and all of them have spent at least a day on the stand in the last week, and they're not up here. They're closer to where I live, but usually they've filled like half their tags and they have nothing yet, so it's even slow over there. That double barrel shotgun I have, that was my grandpa's on my dad's side, and I got it after he passed away, and he didn't really like that shotgun that much because it kicks so bad. And you know, when you're shooting, you know, bird shot at grouse, it's not a big deal, but 3-inch magnums, I've shot, I bet you I've almost as many deer with that shotgun shooting slugs. That was prior to the channel, you know, years before that, but, and it about takes your arm off. But if there's a deer there, you really don't care. But I just, when I was looking at these slugs, it was like, oh, that's right, that gun really does kick, especially when you're running a 3-inch magnum. Yesterday I ordered 2 more of these 5-inch stove dampers. I don't have any up here. I have, I think, 5 or 6 stove pipes, but I don't have any more dampers. So I, because I'm going to replace these 2 pipes when the kids are up next weekend, I think, because it's really, yeah, it definitely needs to be replaced. It's coming apart right here. I usually get about 2 years out of these black stove pipes. And then I'll put a new damper because it's really hard to save these. And every damper is different. Like some you get so nice, like it stops where it's supposed to, and this one here tends to just want to roll down. You really get sick of them, you know? Every one is different. I just went in there and put some more wood in the stove, and it's up to 56 in there. I left that oven on also. I should be back here in about an hour and check it one last time before my dad gets here. First thing I want to do is drive through and see what it looks like where they were logging yesterday. Maybe they won't be here today because it's Saturday and I can really get a good look. Well, this is that same trail that we walked down where I told the story about Max and the grouse, and I shot one last week. The whole left side now is wide open. Oh, they've even went on the, I don't know if they've crossed it, but wow. My special little area looks a little bit different now. Yeah, I don't think there's much of a chance of me seeing any grouse here. I thought maybe they were just working on the other side of the road, but they're on this side too. Those machines are amazing compared to back in the day when all this was done with chainsaw. This is the curve where I shot that grouse with Max, and he couldn't find him. Wow. That just amazes me how fast they work. I mean, they started this yesterday. I need a pile of wood like that for the boiler. I could sit here and watch them do this all day long. I've always been that way with like bulldozers, any big equipment like that. I guess I better get moving if I'm gonna go check out that other area. I don't see any deer tracks, but that's an awfully fresh, big wolf track. I see no reason to keep walking down there. I just wanted to see, because when I was here before, when there were deer here, there was just tracks right through that swampy area, you know, clear as day. Well, that's the first deer tracks I've seen this whole year up here. They've been logging over here too. I've never been down this road before. I talked to a guy once that was driving the loop grouse hunting. Just happened to stop and talk to him for a few minutes, and he said that that road and this road were his favorite two for grouse hunting. That's more deer tracks. Might have to grab the kids next weekend and just grab chairs and come out here and sit somewhere. It's a real nice chunk of chaga on that birch tree. I just went off of a side road of that other road. I don't know if I should have done this or not, but I'm a long ways from the tent. I have a spot I can turn around right here. I think I'll go back. This road just goes, and according to my map, it just eventually ends. But I'm not seeing any deer tracks in here. I seen them way back, you know, when I saw those ones. So nothing really back here. Stopping there and checking that area out right there with the river never gets old. It's one of my favorite places. It's so peaceful. Feels a lot better in here now. 60, maybe 63. I think I can shut this off. and shut it off here because of what happened that one winter. He still doesn't know why that came on. I got that stove loaded up and then I was leaving and my dad pulled up, so I ended up talking to him for about 15 minutes probably. It was getting cold standing outside. Minutes to 12. Time to heat up some leftovers, have some lunch. I don't know what I'm going to do the rest of the day, but I know I'm going to have some lunch. Oh, I can't wait to get a new damper. Drive me crazy. The time is right, but the day is wrong. I need to put batteries in this thing so it would keep the right time and everything for me, but for the winter trip, like, I won't be here for 3-4 months, so I don't think the batteries will survive in that cold anyway. What do we have? I couldn't eat all that pork steak last night, so some of that. Some nice dry fried spinach. A hamburger patty.
In America. You think an important person like Kant better be listed?
I just went out driving for another hour. Drove around, stopped for a while and watched them do that logging. They're still out there, and they're just going down in the woods and then going around. I don't know if they'll get the middle part out or if those logging things just have certain areas that they go, but watched them for a while and drove into a couple of spots to see if hunters had been in there, or, you know, if any deer tracks or anything, and just basically got out of the tent for a while. You like that Cool Ranch Doritos? It's been a quiet night here at the tent. I don't have the TV going or anything. I just was editing on the first weekend deer hunting video. And now I have to video a follow-up video on the diesel heater. I need to do that video for the Northern Seclusion channel to cover some of the questions and, I don't know, just some of the stuff that needed to be covered on that. After that, I suppose I'll start picking things up. I don't have much to pick up in here, though. I mean, I haven't been here that long. Didn't bring that much stuff in. Just get it cleaned up so in a few days the kids can come up here with me, and it'll be the last time at the tent until the winter trip. That's what I call a full wood box. Got that done. If I can get it vacuumed in here tomorrow morning will be easy. I don't have much to bring out to the truck. And I don't have to be out of here super early. I mean, it doesn't have to be before light. But for me, I usually like to get my next day going, and it's like I've got to travel, so let's just get things done and get on the road. Okay everyone, well it's 10:45. It's time for bed. Tomorrow I'll finish cleaning things up and head home. Good morning everybody. Just been hanging out for the last couple hours doing nothing, waiting for it to get light out. Texting with George and with my dad and with Melissa. And now I'm just going to start my truck so it can heat up and pick up the last few things and get them in my truck and head out of here. Okay everyone, well thanks a lot for watching. Be back up here in just a few days. Three sets of wolf tracks fresh in the snow from overnight. One of them went right down the tent driveway. They have to be running out of things to eat. A grouse just jumped out of the tree and flew across the road. I will see you guys on the next video.